Welcome back to Sports Talk. To call the show, 713-313-4354. To reach Devin on Twitter, @WadesWord.
Good morning to one and all. Welcome to Sports Talk with Devin Wade on a beautiful Saturday morning on a 4th of July weekend. And at our brand new time, 9 a.m. So if you haven't heard the show before, it's your chance. We talk anything and everything sports. And we want to get you involved in the conversation. And the way to do that is by calling 713-313-4354, 713-313-4354. In addition to that, you can tweet me at Wade's Word, WADESWORD. And, of course, you can find me on Facebook, and that is Sports Talk with Devin Wade group and or page. Either or. We post more in the group, I think. I want to say good morning and welcome our special guest, Kevin Allen. He's in the building. Good morning, Kev.
Hey, top of the morning to you, Dad.
Hey, how you like this new start time?
Hey, this is great. Hey, give me an extra hour, buddy.
Hey, well, we're glad to have you. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us. And you know, this is July the 2nd, right?
Hey.
So you know what that means? This is day 2 of Johnny Manziel's sobriety. I don't know if you caught that this week, but Johnny Manziel said a couple days, on the 29th, he said, look, July 1st, it ends. I'm cleaning up. I'm going sober. So that was supposed to start yesterday. No one can confirm what he has or hasn't done in the last couple of days. But I believe Johnny.
Hey, Johnny football says, hey, he has to start somewhere.
Well, I tell you what, he'll have to start in Game 5 if he actually gets signed by a team because he got a 4-game suspension. And also in the NFL, Rolando McClain, this is a big loss for the Cowboys. 10-game suspension. Somebody else on the defense got a couple of games, a game or two. So a rough start already for the Cowboys. And a number of people are wondering why announce the suspensions now. But again, hey, this is when you do it. They want to get it out of the way before training camp starts, which is in about 3-4 weeks now for many, many teams. But the story is the NBA. And I tell you what, we'll get into that. But again, new start time for us. Give them your Twitter handle, please.
Allen Ron 10. That's at Allen Ron 10.
Allen Ron 10 on Twitter. So, and of course, I'm at Wade's Word. Want to say hello to all the folks who check us out on YouTube. We've been posting those. So if you haven't, go to Sports Talk. You can look on Sports Talk. Look up Sports Talk with Devin Wade, and there's a number of postings. Usually they're around 10, 12 minutes, excerpts from the shows past. And if you called the show, you may be able to be heard.
Man, I looked at a few of them, and you don't do a bad job.
Well, we're getting better. I'm not a tech-savvy guy. So, I mean, I'm not an expert in that area. So we try to put the little bells and whistles in. I put your name in there twice.
Hey.
You see the, hey, your name is up in lights. Yeah, moving on up.
There it is.
A rough week for me. I have to tell you guys. I mean, I had to re-examine my walk this week. I had AC problems all week long. Started last Saturday.
Yeah, you told me.
Guy came out and couldn't get it going Saturday. And then, parts and stuff, by the time he got a chance to look at it, no way he could get it fixed Saturday. That meant Saturday, Sunday, and most of Monday without AC. So I tell you what, it makes you want to straighten your life up. Because if it's that hot in Houston, oh, it was miserable. But I have a great AC guy, my man Fred. Fred does a great job. So 70 degrees from here on out. And by the way, I've been inspired by the ESPN body issue. This is where athletes from all over, all various sports, they pose nude, and it's not a Playboy nude. It's a Sports Illustrated thing to sort of see the physiques. Can I say that right? Close enough, yeah. Of the bodies of your top athletes, the top athletes in the world. Whether it's, I think Serena did it one year. A number of them, a number of athletes have done it. They've been doing this for like 10 years. And Vince Wilfork,
This year.
yeah, Vince Wilfork from the Houston Texans, he's on a cover. And Vince is about, what, 360?
Saying it nicely.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that inspires a big fella like me. Like, maybe next year. No, but I started out being a DeAndre Hopkins. Now I'm a Vince Wilfork.
Oh, man. It's all right.
Hey, that was a lot.
You have something to look forward to.
That was a lot of body oil, baby oil used on that photo shoot. So that's going on. But again, that's just an aside. So Johnny Manziel's sobriety. A couple losses this week before we get into the NBA stuff, because I suspect that the NBA will dominate the conversation. Pat Summitt. We lost Pat Summitt this week and Buddy Ryan. Your thoughts on the significance of, first, let's go with Pat Summitt.
Pat, huge impact on the women's sport. Kind of put them on the map for quite some time with the University of Tennessee, where they were pretty dominant for a long time before the dominance of UConn has come along now. But Pat has inspired so many young ladies and even male coaches with what she's done on the women's side.
Well, and I remember when it was Texas that started out sort of being kind of dominant, nowhere near the dominance that Tennessee had taken on, but Jody Conrad and that Texas program, La Tech, for a lot of years, did really well. But as it pertains to the women's game, it really changed under her watch. She was awesome. She was intense. And for me, I would watch really annually the Final Four, the women's Final Four. And then it got to be, I never was a Tennessee fan, but then UConn came, and I was less of a fan of UConn, and then I started cheering a little bit more for Tennessee in those matchups. But also, we had a run where A&M did well, Baylor with Brittany Griner, Houston's own Brittany Griner. So, you like to spread the wealth around. But the women's game, I think, for me, I like watching the college game more than the WNBA.
It's pretty good. I mean,
I don't watch either, but I'm saying if I was going to watch one.
But you got a few Houston young ladies that's in the WNBA now that's doing really, really well. Kelsey Bone has just gotten traded over to Phoenix to play with Brittany Griner over there. And then you have the young ladies out of South Fair. I
can't
pronounce it, but
okay.
Those young ladies are doing really, really well.
The twins, right.
They're doing extremely well. So if I get a chance and I see them playing, I kind of watch that.
And then the other loss in the sports world this week, Buddy Ryan, of course, infamous here for punching Kevin Gilbride. I was at that game, and I have to tell you, from a personal standpoint, Buddy Ryan was one of the first people that I interviewed when I started writing for newspapers back in the 90s, and he was one to talk. I mean, he was good. He was really, really good. The players absolutely loved him. Because I was friends with so many Houston Oilers, I know a little bit about behind the scenes, about some of the things that went on and how he approached things and what he did. It was us against the world mentality, and that meant us against even the offense. And so, being around Buddy for that year, it was a big deal. But what he did with the 46 defense, one of the best defenses ever, with Singletary, Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall, who later came to play for the Oilers, Gary Fencing, Dave Durison, you name it, man. That was Richard Dent. There was some guys on the line. I forget the other.
Hampton guys?
Yeah, Dan Hampton. Dan Hampton is who I forgot. But so many guys that were household names on the defensive side. And don't forget what he did in Philadelphia. But again, a big loss, and his sons both are coaching in the NFL. Rex and Rob Ryan, both working for the Bills. Now, all of those things out of the way. You can comment on any of those, by the way. Pat Summitt, Buddy Ryan, Vince. We have to find out. We have to post a picture on the Sports Talk with Devin Wade group or page. So we'll have to find that photo.
Why don't we start something with the callers that are listening, and we'll put a picture of Vince on one side and a picture of you on the other. And we'll take some votes.
Yeah, well, hey. I don't have not yet. Give me a few weeks.
Training camp started now.
Yeah, give me the training camp. Yeah, so, but the NBA is unbelievable. Wow. The first thing that stood out, and obviously because of local interest for us, was the Dwight Howard signing. Now, he was set to make $23 million next season with the Houston Rockets. But now it's like, when you talk about $23 million over $70 million over 3 years. I mean, $70 million is a huge number for. And I looked at it. You know, Dwight Howard is not that old, but it feels like he's towards the end of his career.
But the thing about Dwight that I've been saying for quite some time, Dwight still has something left in the tank. If you look at Dwight's numbers, what he's produced, some of the other guys that has numbers similar to that, they're breaking the bank. But with Dwight not being a big part of this offense, Dwight is going to help Atlanta, man. And I've told
help Atlanta do what, though? Has anything changed? Has anything been derailed as it pertains to the Eastern Conference belonging to the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Well, not yet. It depends. I mean, it'll boost Atlanta, put it like that. They got a rim protector now. You still have Millsap.
Well, Ken Bazemore, who really was courted by the Houston Rockets, turned down the Rockets and a couple other teams to go back to Atlanta.
Yeah, they're not bad. I think Dwight is going to help those guys tremendously in putting them in a better seating now that they have that big guy in the middle, which they've never had. They may lose Al Horford, but he's a different type of guy.
But this is the thing. In Atlanta's, the defensive prowess of Atlanta was never the issue. The bigger issue was not having a primetime scorer that you can count on.
Right.
You have Millsap and Bazemore, you have and Horford, but you don't have a guy that you can count on every night for 20, 25 points a game if you have to have him. And I think that doesn't change by adding Dwight Howard in this situation.
But with Dwight Howard, that helps him on the defensive end and gets him out on the break a little bit better. It's some more easy baskets, things like that. So if you look at 6 or 8 easy baskets in a game, that can turn in another 8 or 9 wins during the year and put you in a different seeding.
Right. Well, and the other name that's floating around is Dwayne Wade. With Hassan Whiteside, and what did he get? I mean, the numbers are crazy. $153 million for
Michael Conley.
Mike Conley. I mean, for $153 million guaranteed, you would think that this guy would be a household name. And for basketball fans, yeah, obviously basketball fans know him, but $153 million guaranteed, you have to be that dude. And again, so much money is going. And look, next year was supposed to be the year where the big money's supposed to come.
That's where the big money's coming next year. I've been kind of working out this morning. I'm a little tired. I'm trying to get a little bit of that money that they're throwing around there.
So the one guy signed I think he ended up for like $12 million a year, averaged 4 points and 3 rebounds.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that?
But that a number of them.
Yeah,
a number of guys.
Mozgov got big money. Luol Deng goes to the Lakers this morning.
Right. Luol signed a 4-year, $72 million deal. Kind of puts the Lakers back in the mix of being a decent team again. They're not in the hunt to win it, but as far as being a decent team with himself, Mozgov, and then you have the young guys with Clarkson signed 4-year, $50 million deal. So they have some decent players now with the young guy that they drafted out of Duke as well.
Ingram, yes. So we're going to take a brief time out, line up some phone calls, get your mic worked out because we can barely hear you this morning. Going to take time out, come back with a whole lot more, get you all involved in the conversation. We have a couple lines open. A couple people are holding already. We'll get to you guys in just a moment. You're tuned in to Sports Talk with Devan Wade on KTSU 90.9, your community station. Welcome back to Sports Talk with Devan Wade and talking NBA or whatever else you want to get into. 713-313-4354. And, of course, you can tweet me at Wade's Word. And our special guest, Kevin Allen, is in the building. You can tweet him at AllenRon10. I've been sending links to you, and I know Texas Mike tries to get at you all the time. Speaking of which, let's go to the phone lines, get you involved in the conversation. Let me do this, too. I want to thank you guys. because, again, we moved to 9 a.m. A lot of you guys were sort of migrating and rotating to the 8 o'clock start. So we sort of bounced around a little bit, but that's sort of been the history of this show, and you guys have always found us. We were talking about that last week, and how you guys have always found us, and I can't thank you enough for the love and support. I also want to ask you about this. You're a basketball guy, and you know some of the parties involved. What is this with this story about Moses Malone Jr. accusing James Harden of getting him beat up and his chain or his jewelry being stolen?
I'm gonna stay out of that. I don't want nobody waiting in the parking lot on me.
Well, I mean, I don't know what this. Is James? Look, is James Harden some kind of like gangster we don't know about?
I kind of stay out of it.
He has goons. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is this a Marvin Harrison thing?
And you know what I thought about it, Devin? You know, I'm real critical on James Harden. I'm like, man,
we better second guess that.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Hey, you see what happened to Kevin McHale? He went in on it. They send the goon squad after him. I don't know what to make of that. That's the nightlife.
Yeah,
that's that nightlife. I don't know.
That time of the night, Dev, I'm asleep, man. So I kind of miss that stuff.
That's a whole thing. And to come out publicly and accuse him. I don't know.
It'll come out in the wash, so I kind of stay away from that kind of talk, and because it can get a little bit testy. So, yeah, I heard about that and kind of saw some of the postings and whatnot, and
well, it originated from, according to Moses Malone Jr., it originated from the fact that Moses Malone Jr. criticized the cost of James Harden's basketball camp.
Right.
Now, is that enough to get you jumped on?
Well, and I know
sensitive thugs need hugs, huh?
Yeah.
Is that anything to fight over?
Well, I know Moses Jr. really well. We go way back.
Well, yeah, I know you know. Yeah, I know you know a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and Moses Jr. is a great guy, and I know deep down he really didn't mean any harm about it, but just speaking out about if that's the case in regards to the cost where inner city kids cannot attend those type of events. And hey, I'm like Klay Thompson might have touched his feelings a little bit. So
yeah. Well, you know what? And let me get into this too. Shifting gears because we don't know anything. Just let the streets handle that.
They can have that.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's hard to believe that a multi-millionaire will get his feelings hurt behind something like that. But again, you never know.
You never know.
So we'll see. 713-313-4354. The whole Kevin Durant thing is turning out to be, we think, anticlimactic, as it looks like he will return to Oklahoma City. But they said yesterday he had a 4-hour meeting with the Clippers, and he was quote unquote wowed by the presentation. I said it all along. I thought he would go back at least for the 1 year and re-sign for the big money next year, or he and Westbrook could go somewhere, which you would hate to think that would happen because Oklahoma City has some great fans. They really supported him throughout his entire career, only organization he's ever played for. But again, they said the Golden State Warriors pitched him real well. If that would have happened, that would be an awesome team. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I think he'll stay where he is, and we'll have to see. But Dwayne Wade, the prospect of him joining Joakim Noah, and
that would be an awesome move for Phil Jackson and those guys to get that done.
Carmelo.
Oh man, that would be great.
Yeah, and so and if that happens, I can't believe Miami will let him get away, but they just might. Call you live on Sports Talk. Good morning.
Happy 4th of July to everybody. How you doing, Kevin and Devin? I hope you all have a wonderful day. Look, first of all, it's July. If a young whippersnapper named Junior thinks he can come in and take my title after he hasn't he's been AWOL, he's got another thing coming. I mean, I'm going to have to knock him out, Devin, and put him in his place. You hear me, Junior? Now, look, I don't like change. I'll admit that. I like things to stay the same. And I like when teams had the same players year after year before Kurt Flood, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I get it. And good for everybody involved, the players. They make more money. I don't blame them for taking more money. But I get a headache, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not due to drinking. I mean, I've tried researching the salary cap. I mean, there's hard cap, soft cap, bi-level exceptions, rookie exceptions, the Larry Bird exception. It's so complicated. You need a PhD from Devan to understand the salary increases. But look, if you can imagine how much money they're giving to the players, just think how much the money the owners are making. So when they say it's not about the money, it's always about the money. So players are changing every year. I have to learn who went where, and I guess that's part of the fun. But look, a question for these hosts and anyone listening out there everybody of us played the game at some point. Basketball, ladies and gentlemen.